And we are live. Let's do the countdown. Hi, everyone. You bought it.
I did. I had to.
So welcome to Marvel Time, issue 52. Not to be confused with the new 52. We don't talk about that here at Marvel Time. So normally we start talking about comics and like Bekah then joins us, but Mack's at Avengers Campus. So you're in the like extension of Avengers Campus, but you are.
Yeah.
What do you think of like the main drag there?
It's awesome. I mean, I've been here like literally in Avengers Campus for 10 hours now, and all I want to do is be out there like mingling and seeing what's going on. Like I feel like I've missed 100 things since I sat down at this table.
And how cool is it that week to week they're changing the Loki wardrobe?
I mean, watching the episode this morning and coming here and seeing Loki in the variant jacket and that outfit and everything was so cool. And I have to wonder, like, so many guests waiting in line to meet him probably haven't even seen the episode yet, so they don't notice that detail. But I think it's just so cool.
I feel like now I have to go to Avengers Campus every Wednesday to like see what's going on. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, hey, I will sign up for that. I will be the one to step up for the team. I will take on that horrible assignment.
Well, we should start, as we usually do, by talking about some comics. So, would you rather be at Avengers Campus, or would you rather be at the Hellfire Gala with planet-sized X-Men number 1 of presumably 1? Although this doesn't really take place at the Hellfire Gala, right? Like,
I guess not, but there's a lot of weird stuff happening, as there usually is with X-Men. There's a lot of telepath linking going on. So there's stuff happening in multiple places. They are literally building a world here in this comic. And it's funny you mentioned like being at the Hellfire Gala or being at Avengers Campus. All I can think about is how much these X-Men comics should be converted into theme park lands, because they are amazing looking. And I think it would work really well. It's just, aside from the fact that nobody would recognize these places.
I'm just confused as to where this came from. Like, it seems to kind of spin out of, Ten of Swords, but you're minding your own business at the Hellfire Gala, and then suddenly they're terraforming Mars, and you're like, hold up, what?
Yeah, it definitely was weird when they started just, they casually just brought Araco back in. I was like, oh, we're still dealing with them. Okay. Which is cool. There's some cool characters there. I'm glad they're not just completely writing them out, but it was definitely weird to see this going on, like you said, during the Hellfire Gala.
The Hellfire Gala continued in New Mutants number something. Yeah, I'm sure I wrote it down. 19. Not quite sure what's on the cover, but and our friends the New Mutants here it's kind of more of just like a social comic.
Yeah,
like, dealing with
that was one of the things I thought too, was like, did anything happen? And this was I of course, because I've had a lot going on today, I don't know if you've noticed, but I of course read these out of order today, like usual. So this was the first one I read, and I was wondering, like, am I just too overwhelmed by everything that's going on around me right now that I can't get into this comic? Or is it that just nothing is happening in this comic? And it later comics that we will talk about prove that it was the latter, because I got very into some of the other comics. But yeah, this was weird. I mean, it's a weird group of characters, but also like not a whole lot going on.
So are these the New Mutants that were in the movie, or is that like Some of the characters.
Yeah, there's some of them are there. Magic is in this comic. Sunspot, I believe, was in this one. He might have popped up in a couple of comics today, but so yeah, there's some of them, but it's mostly a different group
and a totally different story.
Oh yeah. Not even.
I figured.
No, but like not even like this is, I would say, almost like more like kind of like if the OC was a Marvel show.
Okay.
I do like Warlock. He's a fun character. Just like reading him is always interesting. So
then we got X-Corp #2, which has such great covers.
I love that.
A look to it.
Yeah.
And it kind of continues the story from X-Corp, but also Hellfire. Like, I thought this one was a good balance between regular title and Hellfire Gala title. Like, I feel like this one made a little bit more sense as to where the story was. It wasn't like, hold up, we're going to Hellfire Gala, or, use Hellfire Gala as like a throwaway line. So what do you think?
Yeah, it was, again, not a whole lot happening. There were literally, this is about board meetings. Like, they're trying to pick a board for the X-Corp. And so, again, not what you expect in a comic book, but I do like the overall story that they're building here with X-Corp, and I like the way that it ties into the rest of the X comics. I will say, I don't think this is a series that you pick up on its own. I think this is something, if you are reading the greater X comics right now, then you read this too, but probably not something that stands on its own.
Someone named Jess Mack says, I need to read that comic because it's like the OC. Like later seasons of the OC where it's just kind of like spinning out of control. But
I can tell Jess she will be confused if she reads that comic for sure.
Okay, and then we got the Penn Ultimate issue, or just the Heroes Reborn saga.
Yeah, the finale fake out that we got this week.
Yeah, so I liked the comic, but I feel like there's some heavy lifting that's going to need to be done pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Heroes Return. I guess they haven't. The schedule shows that it's the last comic. I guess they haven't officially confirmed that, but you would think it's going to be. So yeah, a lot of stuff needs to happen. I would expect it to be a little bit of a longer issue, but this pretty much leaves us off before the fight starts. So something big's got to happen. Which, I mean, usually when the action starts, it doesn't need to take up that much space because it's more just big splash action pages without a whole lot of dialogue. So we'll see how it goes. But I liked this issue. I like that they. I mean, it was a lot of what we had seen in Heroes Reborn before this issue. But I like that they kind of flew through a bunch of classic Marvel stories with this Heroes Reborn twist and different characters filling different roles. So I enjoyed it.
I'm never going to live this OC comment down. So then we got my pick of the week. I'm guessing it's yours too.
Yeah, that was... Probably could have penciled that in before.
As Marvel likes to use the numbering in a very convenient way for them, it's suddenly 200 again. The finale of Venom, as we know it, I was really impressed. It definitely took, there's definitely some beats after King in Black, so things have happened, but it sets the stage in a great way too. But it doesn't rush it. It tells the story of not only what happened to Eddie, but Flash Thompson and Dylan, and I've talked about how while Venom's not my favorite character, I loved how it was constructed, and I felt like this was a beautifully constructed issue.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it was a great finale. I don't want to get into too many of the plot points because, I don't want to spoil everything. But a lot happens here, and I think they wrote Eddie Brock into a really good finish for him, but yet not really the finish for Venom. So we'll see, how that plays out. I'm really excited about it. I loved all of Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman's run on Venom. There were a lot of callbacks in this issue to some of their previous issues, so that was a lot of fun. Lots of fun stuff with Spider-Man, which was really cool to get that sort of closure between those two characters. And then, just seeing Venom's ability after, the fallout of King in Black and seeing what he could do was really cool. Also, by the way, Venom Dog.
I was going to ask you, what did you think was my favorite part? I want more Venom Dog.
Of course.
When Al Ewing comes over, that's my first memo. I want Venom Dog.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said during our walk and talk earlier that I want a Venom meet and greet. No, I don't want that anymore. I want a Venom Dog meet and greet in Avengers Campus.
I also think Venom Cat. It's very much channeled Cat. But yes. So I think we both agree. Pick of the week, pretty clear.
Yeah, it was easy. I liked Heroes Reborn, but this is one of my favorite. That was probably my favorite issue since we finished King in Black. So.
So you want to talk about a little show I like to call Loki. Episode 2 dropped. Loki is so popular, they decided to change all of Disney Plus's dates, which probably meant Bekah had to spend a lot of time in the database today, updating release dates. I had to change team schedules around. So, but anyway, episode 2. What do you think?
So, yeah, I think the premiere was fantastic. I think it was the strongest premiere of any of the Marvel shows yet, and yet this one stepped up. It was better than the first episode. So if this show can keep on getting better, I can't even imagine where it ends up.
Yeah, I don't want the episodes to end. No. both times I'm like, no, I want more of the story. I don't need a break. Let's keep going. We went back. We did a rewatch again tonight, but I wasn't as invested as this morning. But still, I'm like, this is it's really, really gripping. I guess it's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like. I mean, I hate to make this is just begging for puns, right? But just moving at the perfect timing. It's giving itself time to breathe. It's enjoying the format of being a longer form story, but it also isn't kind of dragging its feet either.
Right.
I was thinking about, I was talking to some folks about WandaVision today, and, Mack and I saw 3 episodes sort of back to back to back. So we kind of saw that as the first episode, just because that's the way they sent it out as press. And so if you haven't seen the first, if you only watched 1 episode, it kind of feels a little unfulfilling. I can see that. And now but this one, I think the pacing was been very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really, Kyle and I talked about this on Zacks of Life too, that that first episode, it was really 2 characters in a room for about half the episode. And it never got boring. It never felt dry. It was we were hooked, for every second of their conversation. And it was more of that in this episode. I mean, obviously more stuff happened. They got out of the TVA a little bit more, but it was just, you can't, like Bekah said, it's gripping. You can't look away at all, and you're hanging on every word.
So at the reveal at the end, spoiler alert, Austria, it's one of those times where I wish I didn't read the comic.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it would have been cool to see the reveal, but I knew that's what it was going to be, just because the way they kind of staged it and knowing the story of the comic, it kind of had to be that. And so, I don't know. What did you think, Matt?
Well, so I actually, I totally agree. And I mean, just doing what we do, it was hard to avoid hearing about who was going to pop up and in what role. But I also think they might be adding a little bit of a twist to this character. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this, because Loki specifically mentioned enchantment as a fun trick. Do we think this is going to be the MCU's version of Enchantress?
I actually do, because I mean, so we all got burned by WandaVision, where we just presumed like you don't write it that way if that's not what you're gonna do. Yeah, you don't have a Loki story and use the word enchantment and not expect people to jump to Enchantress.
Right.
So, and obviously can do a lot of, the character can do a lot of things. I don't know if you saw it. They did a video of like the cast of Loki trying to predict, like, say, did Loki say this or not? And one of the quotes was from Chris Evans as Loki from Thor: The Dark World. And so Thomas Hiddleston's like, well, technically I said it, but I didn't say it.
Thanks.
That's great.
So not to be like completely ignorant, but who was that person? It's not Mephisto. Is it this Lady Loki who I've heard of, or I'm sorry, being really, really like
No. I think that is the question that the 98% of the audience is asking. The other 2% being the comic book nerds, but and it's a very fair question because, like I said, we're questioning if it's also Enchantress. So I mean, we don't even really know. But yeah, I think the idea right now is that it is Lady Loki. That this is just a different version of Loki. And then we've seen, on the documents that Loki is gender fluid. So, I mean, I guess we don't know if, it's a female Loki from another timeline or if it's, if it's the same Loki. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where they go with this character.
So many thoughts.
I see. WandaVision trained us, right? And so we went into Falcon and the Winter Soldier differently and didn't try to make predictions. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier was predictable. This, I don't think we can. I don't think we can try and predict where they're going to go with this. There's just way too many variables.
And I'm kind of over that. It's just more of like, in the story, you're trying to wrap your head around it. Not in a bad way, not like what's happening, but like, you're like, what? And then, there's not, like, you don't end on a cliffhanger. You don't expect people to be like, what just happened?
Right.
That's not how television works. But I don't know. Can't wait for see where the show goes. We got another 4 episodes after this one. And
real quick, I do have to talk about the Pompeii scene because that was one of the funniest scenes in the MCU ever. That was fantastic.
That was good. Yeah, he told him what to make bird noises, and then he's like, "Nope, I'm just gonna tell you the volcano is going to erupt."
Right, and telling people, "I know all of this because I'm from the future." Of course, they're not going to believe you. We know that from time traveling movies. Nobody's going to believe that you're from the future. But yeah, it's his reaction. He's just throwing stuff in the air and saying nothing matters. That was hilarious.
I was happy to see a can of Josta popped up. Do you guys remember that? That's what. Yeah.
Didn't notice that.
No, I was just very excited. I'm like, so when does this take place?
I'm disappointed that I can't buy Kablooey here in Avengers Campus today. I'm sure that's going to be popping up soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
I don't know. That's a gum though. That'll tear the space-time continuum of Disney.
Is it? That's true. Is it gum? I mean, they call it candy. So
maybe
I don't know.
Candy. I just kind of presumed because it looked like like a
bubble.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
for sure.
But who knows what gum looks like? 10 years from now.
True. Yeah.
And how great to know that Cuisinart and Dell are still companies that are thriving and surviving in 2050.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Rocksmart, of course.
I would also like to point out that if you saw the Hyundai commercial, apparently those cars are really easy to break into.
Yeah.
Good to know.
True.
They want you to feel like a superhero, like you just have that magic touch, right? No, not making any suggestions.
As we move along, so we did get word from some guy named Bob Chapek that the Loki was the most watched Disney Plus premiere ever. Now, obviously, Disney Plus is rolling out in new markets, so I don't know what significant statistic that is, as there's more Disney Plus subscribers than there were in the early days. However, it did give Disney the thought that they should just move all of their premiere dates for series to Wednesdays. I'm sure there's a business reason for that. I don't know what it is. I do kind of like it because like Disney Channel stuff's usually on Friday. You have movies on Friday, so I feel like this lets you kind of have a TV day as opposed to a movie day.
I think the movie thing definitely makes a lot of sense. I also think if you look at just like network TV, Friday night is like where shows go to die. So, it makes sense that they would move to the middle of the week as sort of a more, premiere just time of the week for a release.
Mike asked if it was the most watched in the first day or most watched total. And he said in the first week, but he also said this before it had been a week. It had only been 5 days. So I don't know at what point. I'm guessing just sort of consistently it's been sort of outperforming everything else, which once again, there's a lot more Disney Plus subscribers there was when Mandalorian premiered, and even more Disney Plus subscribers when WandaVision premiered. So I wouldn't get too, obviously I would say that this is probably the most famous character that they've done a series on.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda was in the Avengers, wasn't like, the main villain of the first film.
I think this is also a record that we will see broken way more times than just this. So wouldn't put stock in it.
Yeah. On the Disney Plus side, we got word that Black Widow is going to be available to all Disney Plus subscribers about 3 months after it debuts in theaters and Premiere Access. So it'll be available July 9th on Premiere Access, and it'll be available to all subscribers October 6th. Kind of keeping that 3-month window, what they've been doing. Obviously, we've seen things change time and time again, but at least for that title, that's their plan. And then on the Marvel Studios news, we've got word that Jamila Jamil is going to play Titiana in Marvel Studios She-Hulk. Obviously, the famous villain from the comic. In the series, she's going to be introduced as Lucy, a social media influencer who enters Jennifer Walters' legal world, which makes me want to think of her as a villain. Anyway,
Right.
but I don't know if you saw, people online on our tweet are really upset that they took a redheaded character and have made her a non-redheaded character, using terms such as ginger side. And I guess this also obviously happened with Mary Jane in the MCU as well. So I don't know. I can't imagine that they thought about this, but obviously there's people that are upset.
Yeah, I love the casting. I was a big fan of The Good Place, and she's fantastic in that. They've already touted this as a comedy as well, so she's very funny. I'm really looking forward to this. Also, that was a different pronunciation from what I've ever heard. I believe Titania is what I've always referred to the character as.
What do they call her as?
I think you might have called her Tatiana, but you were.
Oh no, no, you're right, Titania. It's a comic, so you don't read it. You don't hear it.
Oh, that's the biggest thing for me is every time I'll read stuff one way, but then when we do like our news videos, I'm like, I better make sure I know how to pronounce this, or we're gonna sound really silly.
When I was a kid, I read DC a lot, and I in my head I read it as Darkseid, and then I realized Darkseid makes a whole lot more sense, but it's just not how I read it.
I was waiting for you to tell us that your favorite superhero was Batman.
Batman or Gamera.
But for some reason, I was always able to pronounce Mixoplick. Also, Marvel Studios announced that they're creating a new documentary series dedicated to Spider Women, strong and inspiring women who bring the MCU to life behind and in front of the camera. So if you are interested in being part of the project, you can apply online. You can read our article for more information. But speaking of women behind the MCU, Bekah attended a fireside chat with Victoria Alonso, executive producer at Marvel Studios, which was held as part of the Women in Animation Festival tied to the Annecy Animation Festival.
That's absolutely correct.
How'd that go?
It was really, really good. It was like a 40-minute conversation, and she talked about kind of like how they're moving into, where she's working, they're moving into animation. We've got What If coming in a couple, or we don't have an official date yet, but it's coming this summer. So we got to see an exclusive look at What If, but I'm not sure how much I was allowed to share, so I kept it really, really basic. But just talking about, you know, how animation allows you to play a little bit more with different characters, and how you can imagine so many other things, and it's almost easier to, you know, portray those stories in that format. She talked about diversity, she talked about inclusion, and was just saying that, you know, Marvel has a huge global audience, and so they want to make sure that they're telling stories that appeal to their entire audience. So she didn't announce any future projects, but I think there's probably a lot of stuff on the horizon that we'll be seeing, and I'm really excited.
I can't wait for What If. I think that's something that's going under the radar, and a lot of Marvel fans will, you know, not be as excited for it simply because it's an animated series and not continuing the story of the MCU. But I think they're going to tell some really cool stories here, and like you said, I mean, animation tends to open some doors, so it should be a lot of fun.
I have a question for you, Mac, though.
Mm-hmm.
That show is kind of narrated by the Watcher, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the Watcher will then somehow make a more prevalent appearance in the MCU?
I am curious about that. I mean, we've seen the Watchers as a whole show up before, very briefly, but it would be interesting. I don't see why not. I mean, the thing is, the Watcher doesn't tend to have a huge role in stories. It's more so just when he shows up, you know, something big is happening. So they could use him for that purpose, but I'm not sure. I would like to see him.
Uatu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I've only seen that written.
I've always said Uatu, so yeah.
So Bekah, we got any merchandise this week?
We do. Yes, we have. Lots of Marvel must-haves. Some stuff themed specifically to the first episode of Loki, and then just kind of a great collection of things. But yeah, there's a variant shirt and a windbreaker over on Hot Topic, and there's a Loki dress on Hot Topic as well, designed by Her Universe. And there's some stuff with Miss Minutes, of course, a pair of socks. So yeah, there's a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they're going to bring for this next week. So yeah, it's always a little bit behind, but
hey y'all.
Yeah,
I might need that shirt.
I do have, let me see here, where is it? The Loki variant, the Time Variance Authority shirt. And then we've also got the variant jacket.
I've actually seen a couple of people wearing the shirt in Avengers Campus today.
That's so cool. Yeah, so those are both available on Hot Topic. And then there was something else. Oh yeah, the Loki dress. I pulled up the wrong smaller pictures, but here we go. Yeah, it's
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you've got the little Loki emblem there embroidered on the shoulder, and then there's a wall calendar. I mean, come on, you need that, right? Oh, that didn't pop up.
Can you trust a wall calendar from the Time Variance Authority?
That's what I was just thinking. I mean, it should just be like January and then December. Like December 73rd.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. And then these socks, right? How fun are these? I love that they used her in this episode too, just popping out of that computer screen and talking to him. So.
Yeah, that was fun how they had her. Like he asks, "Are you just a recording or are you real?" And she says both, and he's trying to hit her with a magazine. That was fantastic. It's just a lot funner than I thought.
they said some shows can spin out of these shows, so I'm not against a Miss Minutes series.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
How about a what if episode where Miss Minutes is running the whole TVA herself?
Yeah, Miss Kang takes off his mask and it's Miss Minutes.
There's also a book. I don't think it's specific to the series, but Where Mischief Lies. So just more to dive into. And then, of course,
who's the author of that book?
That's Mackenzie Lee. Is she the one who wrote the?
Yeah, the Gamora Nebula book that I reviewed just a couple weeks ago, which was fantastic. I highly recommend it. So that Loki book should be really good.
Cool. Yeah. So there you go. Go read Mack's review and then buy this book.
So we got some TV news, but like real TV that comes through a cable, as opposed to your internet, which comes through the ear. Spidey and his amazing friends on Disney Junior will be debuting
August 6th.
On August 6th. The shorts will debut June 21st and will be available on Disney Plus as well, so you can get hyped. But it's a Disney Junior style show featuring Peter Parker, Ghost Spider, and Miles Morales Spider-Man. And there's going to be a lot of products. And what's cool is in the opening credits, you can even see Spider Bots. So I'm not quite sure if how this will relate to What If, like if Mack's gonna have to watch 2 shows in a day, but I mean, obviously it's a Disney Junior show, it's gonna have a Disney Junior vibe, but still, it's we could all use a little Disney Junior in our lives.
I'm always up for more Spider-Man too, whatever kind of Spider-Man it is. So,
go Webs, go!
Right.
I imagine there's a song called like "Go Webs, go." Go Webs, go.
Yeah,
I mean that sounds like a Fall Out Boy song,
right? And I'm totally there for that.
And then we do have some comic news that I wanted to make sure we addressed. First is Khazar is returning from the dead, which I think we actually read the comic where we killed him, right?
We did, and we actually said, as we were talking about that comic, we were like, yeah, but does it really matter? We know he's going to come back, and now here it is. He's actually like the title of the comic is Khazar Rises from the Dead. So, granted, that was a while ago. That was an Empire, so they gave it almost a year, I think. Empire was the summer of last year, so.
Well, it was supposed to be the summer of last year, right?
They talked about it. We were at CES in February, the very end of February, and they were getting ready to launch Empire, is how he pronounced it.
Who said that at CES?
I'm sorry, I said CES, but I'm thinking
C2E2.
CES. C2E2, yes.
Yeah.
We did CES. Well, Kyle did CES. We also did C2E2. Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. I was just like, wow, they really promoted that.
No, but that was right.
And then,
Uh,
I like that Bekah has this Mike Wazowski thing going on right now. There we go. Yeah.
Hi, Mana's show. Guys, I'm on Marvel time.
The Darkhold, man's coming back. As seen in WandaVision. Doctor Doom as not seen in WandaVision. And the Scarlet Witch looks like they're going to get into some magic they probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, this is a fun concept for a comic. I mean, just having these two characters go at it should be fun. I mean, there's definitely some history there, obviously, but throwing the Darkhold into the mix as well, that's going to be a very interesting story. And I mean, I love Doctor Doom and Wanda, so any story with these two is going to be something I'm looking forward to for sure.
So, you have, what's his face? Black Bolt here. And he's screaming. That's not good.
No, that's never a good thing.
Nope.
Oh, there's a couple of variations on the covers too. Okay. Interesting. like you've got the on the left hand side, there's the big circle over somebody's eye, and then on the right hand side, you've got something.
Yeah, you really can't see it. There's Spider-Man is kind of Iron Man, Spider-Man kind of split on this side.
I
looks
got
like
it.
Doctor Strange and a symbiote of some sort.
Okay.
It's like find all the differences in these pictures.
Yeah, this was actually the cover's actually produced by Highlights Magazine. So look for the Darkhold in a dentist office near you. And yeah, there's so much to talk about, but I think we are going to wrap it up because there's some other Marvel thing I got to do tonight that I'll talk about on Friday. But thanks so much. And I just got to say, Mack, are you now that you've spent 11 hours in Avengers Campus, is that too, like, do you have a desire to never go there again?
No, I actually, so I'll be in Disneyland tomorrow, and I'm already looking at my schedule. Like, should I try to park hop and come over here before I leave? But I don't know. No, I could easily have spent the full day here and come back tomorrow 100%. I mean, like I said, just sitting here right now, I'm like, I'm missing stuff happening right over there. And like, I have that itch. So.
Well, we'll let you get to that. But what do you think of the ride? The Spider-Man ride?
It was fun. So, I mean, having the first week, and hearing reactions to it kind of managed my expectations a little bit. But I am somebody who loves those interactive, competitive rides. So I really liked it. I was very happily surprised with how accurate it was. I was expecting it to be, like what was the one, the Xbox Connect, I think, with your hand motion, like Fruit Ninja and stuff like that. And it was always a little bit off. But it was surprisingly very accurate, especially for 4 people in a row, just throwing their hands like crazy for, how well it kept up with all of that. So, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
And you actually got to experience 4 people in a vehicle in a row, which I didn't get to do because, social distancing.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I should note, by the way, I'm not wearing a mask right now, and I'm sitting in Disneyland. So, yeah, that's a thing that started.
So popcorn or churro, 11 hours in Avengers Campus or 11 hours waiting for Hagrid's?
I will take all of the churros in that case, I suppose.
I just can't wait until we have a Mike and Mack happening at the same time, where one is in Galaxy's Edge all day and the other's at Avengers Campus, and you guys just like give us
that would be fun.
What's going on.
So I'll give you my take on that.
Sorry, I'm volunteering people.
Galaxy's Edge has a lot more space and like shops and nooks and crannies. But it's hard to spend a lot of time there because there's not a lot of kinetic energy to it. Whereas Avengers Campus, there's always something going on.
They have shows.
Yeah, and the shows are constantly happening. Like there's always something. You walk from one show, and as you get to the next building, there's another show going on. And then while that's happening, Captain America walks past you, and then you see Ant-Man doing a meet and greet up ahead of you. And there's just always something happening. It's been kind of mind-blowing to see how active it is. And also, despite that, it still feels somehow more special when you see these characters. Like, Captain America walked past me, and people were freaking out. Like, this was it was actually Chris Evans in the costume. Like, they are celebrities here in this land right now. It's so much fun to be around.
That's so cool.
Can't wait to get back. And I'm sure Bekah can't wait to go.
Yes, exactly.
But we'll be back at our normal time for Marvel time. I think we'll be back on normal time. Who knows what the galaxy has for us. And don't forget, another episode of Loki on Wednesday. We'll see what outfit he's going to wear. That will be quickly inside the Disney park. And then when Mack leaves, he's going to check out Miss Minutes because you can't leave DCA without seeing Miss Minutes.
Right. She is off campus, though, so I have to wait until I'm ready to leave.
She's like at the sorority house. That's what I should call it. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to everybody later. Bye, folks.